Hey, Amascut here, back with another Thoughts On, joined by Crondis.
Hello.
Today we're going to be discussing the recently released Tales of Nomad, as well as a brief mention of the hard mode Nomad fight, as well as a further brief mention of Deathmatch, which is the
Deathmatch.
new PvP game mode that came out at the same time as Tales of Nomad. Obviously, we're discussing Tales of Nomad more in depth because it's lore and more
It's lore and it's a better update in general. But
kind of
we'll
makes
move past
sense.
that one.
So, Tales of Nomad is a brand new tale
And
released
it
by
is
the
amazing.
yeah, excuse me. It is released by the Duke's team, mostly written by Mod Raven in his tap time. Apparently, he originally was writing this as a Lores in History, and with the movement of mining and smithing update and reassignment mostly to Mod Jack, they had time opened up and made use of it to make the Dagannoth King's graphical relaunch plus drop table update, the Hardmode Nomad, and just a couple other small updates along with this tale. So,
And I definitely prefer the tale over Lores and Histories. As much as I love Lores and Histories.
yeah, I mean, I love me some lores and histories, but the fact that it's an in-game tale is awesome. I always love
Yeah.
me some in-game content as much as I love me some out-of-game story, because like that last lores and histories we got with Death was freaking
Oh
incredible.
yeah, that one was awesome.
Cool, that was just magical. But this is some really great story. Nothing too crazy in the gameplay. It really is just a follow the clues and find the next memory.
hmm
Um,
But let's
which
just start
doesn't,
off by saying,
yeah,
before
it
this
doesn't,
tale,
yeah. Go ahead.
Nomad's lore was a mess. It
That's
was
one way to put it.
all over the place. You had
Yeah,
random master that was probably Lucian in Requiem going to Dishonor Among Thieves, where it was just a random Black
yeah,
Knight, actually. And then you
yeah,
had Elegy, which made no sense, and he was all over the place. And what they
exactly.
did with this tale was they took everything they had to work with and made it into an actual coherent story that made so much sense and tied it
Not
in
only did
with
it make sense, but
everything.
it was also fascinating, really well written, and
Yeah.
most importantly, like beyond just the making sense thing, answered a lot of questions we had, not just
Yeah.
about Nomad, but about various other events that occurred.
Mm.
So,
Now, that said, it probably would have been better if Dishonor Among Thieves and Elegy didn't screw his, Lord of Hell, but I'm happy with
yeah,
what we got.
I do blame myself a little bit for Dishonored. I don't hate his lore in that. I think that was a very good addition because I'm still staunchly against Lucian being Nomad's master. It makes no sense. But
It does
I
now.
I had a very long conversation with Mod Ali that lasted hours and hours and hours, where we just kind of discussed what was going on with Nomad and why something as simple as Lucian was an issue for him.
And if we
And
go back even further with you, you have your Nomad of the Green Knight thread that
Green Knight,
all of the older people would remember in the lore community.
yeah. Any if any of y'all were around in what was that 2012, 2013,
Something like that. It wasn't.
you
Was it that
it,
long
it
after
was
Elegy was, or Requiem was released?
maybe it was 2011 then. It was a year or two, probably a year after Requiem, maybe a little bit longer. But it blew up. That thread blew up. It
It took a
was
while. It had slow momentum, but then
yeah,
it finally blew up
it
once
got
some
slow
mods got
momentum, and
attention
then
to it.
it hit some point, got stickied at one point as like a thread of the month. It got featured on the homepage in hot threads that you should read, and yeah, that thing blew up. Basically, the idea of the theory was that Nomad was tied to the Camelot series in some way and was supposed to represent the Green Knight of Arthurian myths. The theory came about from utter desperation because there was very few other options as to who the master could be.
hmm
The reason was this was before the sixth age, and this was when requirements on quests mattered immensely.
Yep.
Like, if something didn't tie into requirements, it wouldn't be the case. They have made, in the history of the game now, for fifth age stories, there are three occurrences where requirements do not match the story. Those are Nomad and Lucian being one of his masters, Khazard's miniquest not being required for Ritual of the Majoret, and the Stone of Jas appearing in River of Blood without Malgothic
Yeah.
Sleeps being a requirement. Those are the only three instances where requirements are broken inside. That's it, out of 170, 80 quests. So if you understand, in the time when this theory and kind of my research into Nomad came up, breaking requirements to tell a story was not a thing that happened. That was something that writers followed very, very heavily for RuneScape. And at the time, Lucian did not make sense. Nomad's requirements include 0 Majorat stories whatsoever. There are 0 ties. It has Camelot, it has Karanja, and that's it. Didn't really. So basically, his master was somebody from one of those 2 places or somebody new.
Yep.
Making matters worse, the 3 assassins that show up to fight Nomad are Dark Warriors and not Black Knights. Dark Warriors are mercenaries and were simply hired by Lucian during the events of Malgothic Sleeps and are not owned or run by his operation at all, as far as we're aware. So it just further kind of put, an awkward thorn here. Like, well, they haven't put a Lucian requirement anywhere, so it can't be Lucian. And then Mod Wraith, the developer, in a Q&A after the quest, straight up said, no, his master is not a Majorat and never will be. He has no ties
But
to the Majorat
there
story.
was that Mod Mark interview where he did straight up say, yes, Lucian is his master, which made the whole
Of
situation
course,
even
not
worse.
helping things, Mod Mark also said that Nomad was dead.
Yeah.
So we
Was
were
that
in
when he
a
said he died
really
off screen or something?
Yeah, they said, well, yeah, they said he was mechanically dead. And everybody's like, but what about the post quest thing? And he goes, no, he teleported away and then died.
Yeah.
So basically we're sitting there like, what? Um somebody, I think it was probably me. Somebody asked in a Q&A around that time, and Modmark actually acknowledged the Green Knight theory and said that it wasn't correct and that Nomad was dead, and basically just like screwed the entire storyline because Mod Wraith had left Jagex recently.
Mhm.
And it seemed like for whatever reason they're like, oh, fuck this storyline. Um,
But yeah, that
and
got
so
really off.
we're in that weird spot where everybody's trying to theorize what's going on with this master. And Ollie and I got into a long discussion about how Nomad really did. I pointed out that he could very well have ties to the Black and White Knights, or not even necessarily the Black Knights, but the Dark Warriors, and then Camelot or the White Knights, because there was a knight laying outside the Piety Room that at the time was wearing White Knight armor. Now, during some reworks, he was eventually given this kind of tarnished steel-looking armor, but he was a White Knight or Camelotian Knight. I'm really not sure which. But Ollie took that to heart and kind of wrote in this very odd reference to a ex Kintra spy that Nomad killed. And somehow Raven managed to weave that into the plot in a very effective.
Yeah.
But so it left us in a weird spot where everybody commonly assumed that Lucian was the master. Requirements didn't add up, and then Dishonor Among Thieves goes, yeah, no, we've got a different guy, but Nomad has had many masters.
Yep.
So Elegy comes out, doesn't answer the question at all, doesn't get mentioned,
Even though people
and
were
then
expecting it to be.
oh
But
yeah, everybody was expecting it to be, and then this tale comes out. So yeah, as I was mentioning before we started diving into the lore, I think the one thing that really disappointed me about this is the gameplay. It really is just follow around and more and see
I don't
static
really mind. I
cutscenes.
mean, it's
Yeah, I mean
it's a mini
it
quest,
doesn't.
so it's not going to be the most mechanically, evasive thing.
Yeah, the lore more than made up for it. Like seriously, there's some amazing storytelling in this, and the fact it managed to take so many just wild threads and weave them together so well was really really impressive.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I'll go ahead and just dive through the lore super quick and talk about the after effects of what this mini quest leaves us in.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so The quest opens in the underworld, or the mini quest opens in the underworld. We can get back there now through Death's door in his office, which can finally be opened. And you see this sinister figure standing there, um, slightly down the stairs. And if you approach them, though, they vanish. There's a memory of Nomad. And if you click that, you get some lore, and you get a clue about where to go next. It kind of sends you on this trip across the world, where you go to locations that are important to Nomad and find out more about him. So we learn his parents were Zamarakians, and due to some rumors, were killed by Temple Knights. Nomad ends up traveling to Varrock, becomes thief, but is beaten and assaulted because he's not very good at it. And eventually, he meets a guy called Oreb, who is a soul mancer and has done heavy research into souls. And for anybody who's done the quest Kindred Spirits, you will know the name Oreb, and that is because he is a magister of House Charon from Terragard, who somehow has shown up in Gillinor in the Fifth Age, which is really wild. Nomad joins Oreb on tutelage and begins to call Oreb his master. Over time, Nomad starts wanting to do research into immortality, but Oreb doesn't seem interested in it. And Nomad begins to plot and then ends up killing Oreb inside Nomad's temple. And Nomad starts further researching. He's going a little crazy here, and he discovers references to Dragath Nirn, who's a necromancer in Lumbridge, who you can find in the Lumbridge catacombs after the Blood Pact, and hunts Dragath Nirn down and kills him after Nirn will tell him nothing. Eventually, Nomad somehow learns of Lucian and his plan to attack Varrock. This is where another really nice piece of kind of connecting lore comes in. It was never really explained how Varrock managed to fend off Lucian's really awful attack, and this explains that Nomad actually powered himself up and fought off the armies of Lucian to gain Lucian's attention.
Fun fact, I forgot that existed. I completely forgot there was a first attack of Varrock by Lucian.
Yeah, most people don't know about it because it's absurdly obscure.
Yeah, it just says it one time in the museum, I believe.
This is the sort of thing where we would write a rune secrets about it, except it'd be 30 seconds long because we didn't know anything else.
Yeah.
Except that it happened and it was stopped.
Yeah.
It's insane. But yeah, so Nomad stops it, and he gains Lucian's attention, joins Lucian, and calls Lucian his master now. What I appreciate about the story as well, by the way, is that because Nomad meets Lucian pre-Temple of Ikov, it wouldn't need to be a requirement for Requiem. Just simply 5th Age timeline-wise, Nomad and Lucian predate any quest requirements. However, where my issue comes up is that Requiem is not required for ritual unlock.
Yeah.
That would make all of this fit. Anyway, Nomad learns a ton from Lucian, but eventually
not everything, and so he wasn't happy.
Yeah, not everything. Gets very unhappy about this, and plots to power himself up significantly. And he plans to do this by funneling souls, like he learned from Oreb. So he builds soul wars, not even attempting to be subtle, I see, and starts siphoning souls into himself, starts powering himself up. Lucian learns of this, sends assassins. Nomad kills the assassins. Nomad kills more assassins. Nomad thinks we're an assassin. Kill Nomad. Turns out, because he was so supercharged by souls, he didn't quite die.
Yeah, this part's really odd, because it says if you put your mouse like over the memory, it says my first death.
Or that was very, very intentional too.
Yeah, it was very intentional. And then he said, I died, but the soul obelisk, like, kept me alive?
He basically says something along the lines of how it doesn't stick.
Yeah, something's up.
He knew that he should have died, and for some reason he doesn't.
Mm-hmm. And this ties in later.
I'm personally kind of the assumption that he died close enough to the obelisk that it funneled his soul back into it before death would be able to get.
It could be, but he wasn't on his throne. I guess it could be proximity.
Yeah, but I basically somehow Nomad survives by some insane fluke, and assuming we're still an assassin, he teleports away, thinking that we're destroying the world.
Mhm.
So at some point along
You
this
have
as
doomed
well,
this world.
doomed as well. Yeah, at some point along this, he also took on the master Servile, who was a Kinshra spy master. However, over time, Servile actually turned his back on Zamorakianism and actually converted and actually became a white knight instead of just pretending to be one. And Nomad considered him a master as a way to kind of keep up with the events of the world. And after learning that he has
Shit.
down there, the Six Age occurs. And after Guthix's death, Nomad learns of divination, begins tracking down that sort of power, and kind of uses it as a temporary fix almost for his soul addiction. While it powers him up, it doesn't stay. It slowly fades out, and he's not as powerful as he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And while he is siphoning at the Poison Wastes location, Death finally catches up to him, prepares to reap him, and then we show up and take him away for dishonor among thee.
So I find it really interesting that Death found him at a divination spot. Because
Yeah,
Death was like really close with Guthix. So I think that might
yeah,
have been a very big oops to go to a divination
yeah.
spot
I
if you're
mean,
trying to avoid death.
at the same time, though, he was addicted. He needed that power, and divination was what was providing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he thought that he would be able to deal with death, and found that he very much could not. But yeah, dishonor among thieves occurs. Nomad's elegy occurs, and Nomad either is killed or taken away by Slisky. And we are told in our these memories, we are actually addressed directly. Very spooky. And we are told to go back to the underworld again, and we do. Are suddenly given 2 XP lamps in our inventory,
3.
and you can 3 XP lamps. Sorry, not that it matters. The XP is so low
Yeah,
anyway.
1500. Come on.
And you see that sinister figure again for a second, standing in the same spot, and vanishes again, but leaps behind an examinable cold spot. Now, what's especially weird is the sinister figure is wearing the same outfit that Oreb wears,
Yeah.
which means it's incredibly likely that Oreb isn't dead.
Well, there's two. We have two options
Yeah,
here. So Oreb either didn't die by Nomad's hands somehow, due to his mastery of souls or whatever, or because we only saw him in the underworld scenes, he's dead, but he's kind of like sticking around like Zinnia and
yeah.
Jessica are.
We really don't know what's up with him. It could just not be Oreb as well. We truly do not know. But what's so exciting about it is that this is a magister from Terragard who is a master of souls.
Hmm.
Like,
And he's for whatever reason in Gillinor's underworld.
and for some reason, he's not just on Gillinor, but he's also in Gillinor's underworld, potentially, passing us information about Nomad for some reason. And could still, which is really interesting because there was so little we knew about him before.
Yeah.
That so much so that he actually did not have a wiki page until Tales of Nomad. I discovered this one trying to add information to him.
Yeah, he was definitely the wild card that was thrown in kind
Yeah,
of
that was
randomly.
that was that was the one that came out of nowhere, but boy did it fit his story since Oreb was the soul researcher and eventually a soul mancer or something like
Yeah, and I mean it definitely is a good like starting point for Nomad's like spark of interest in souls.
that. Exactly. There really wasn't any reason for him to be interested in souls beforehand, and this was a. I was crazy excited by this twist, and I thought it was a really good move from the story standpoint.
Yeah.
And it was a good way to kind of tie Terragard into things. I know certain people are not a big fan of Terra Guard being used here. You know who you are.
Mod
But
Raven does tend to like his tarot card for some reason.
yeah, and I truly don't mind that. I mean,
I don't
Wilson
either.
is trying to use Zautak. I like that various devs are able to tie in these story references to things that they enjoy
Yeah.
to set up future story. I think it's really great.
Hmm.
So there really isn't a lot of loose ends left in here beyond perhaps Oreb. I think
And
really
Oreb really
Oreb,
isn't a loose end with Nomad at all. All of Nomad's
yeah,
loose ends are basically tied up.
yeah, they have mostly very neatly tied up almost everything we need except for putting Nomad's Requiem on Rodham. I'm going to keep mentioning this until it
It
happens, Raven. Please make it happen, please,
better
dear God.
happen. Please.
And
I'm begging.
honestly, it's just Oreb is now this very interesting wild card, or
Yeah.
the sinister, the sinister figure. But with that possibility that it's Oreb, that leaves a lot of really
So I
interesting
think we
tarot
should
card story
probably
space.
discuss the elephant in the room with Oreb. Is
Yeah,
he or is he not Sliske's master?
I don't think so.
I
I
don't
think
either.
I think him being the author of the book that inspired Slisky to try to get himself a soul pretty much rules him out. Like having a book by your master in your room would be more than cheeky to say the least.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it was more of, Sliske's kind of researching to do as much as he can. I just can't
Yeah,
seem
I
to get
agree.
myself to believe that Sliske would follow a human.
I also agree on that. I truly don't know who he would be following, but I don't think it's going to be as simple as a Terra Guardian.
Yeah. And with all the other
But
possibilities, I think it might make it a bit cheap.
yeah, especially with him already being Nomad's master, that would be cheap.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I personally don't think that's the case. If somebody has any interesting or convincing evidence to the contrary, though, I'd be super jazzed to hear. Yeah. Anyway, anything else to mention with Tales of Nomad from you?
There was one.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me see if I can find the exact, um, oh yeah, here it is. So Memory 4. He
Yeah,
states, soon I realized his chain was weighing me down. He's talking about Oreb, obviously. He said I needed power enough to vanquish it, and man, I only knew of one place where I could harvest enough. And this is leading us to his altar, or like his throne. This
yeah.
implies that the obelisk was there a long time prior to him ever setting up Soul Wars.
What if it was Orbs?
It could have been,
That
but
would
it's
make
not.
sense with
But
Orb
it
being
wasn't
a soul
stated.
guy.
Yeah, but it wasn't stated, and it's
Yeah.
why. Why would he know that? Like it
I
confuses me.
mean, to be fair, the portal is well, no, because it has a location on the world map.
Yeah.
Actually, oh shit, I'm in an Uncharted Isle. Hang on, RuneScape world map. Let's get this shit open. No, that's the old school one. I don't need that. That's way more helpful. All right. So what's interesting is Soul Wars' location has been moved around a lot, but take a look at where its current location is on the map right now.
Is it not where it's always been?
Well, it's directly south of the level 95 divination spot,
Hmm.
the spot where he was then later caught by death. I find that very interesting.
Now that could just be odd coincidence, just given as to
Oh,
where
I'm
they were.
sure it's I'm
Random.
sure it's just odd coincidence,
Yeah, but
but I think that's really odd. I
it's
don't know
really
what to
odd.
make of it. I don't know
Yeah.
what to say about it, but boy is it funny.
Hmm. But yeah, I just find it really weird that for whatever reason the Soul Obelisk was already set up with the throne, collecting souls, even though the Soul Wars hadn't been established yet. So, because for what I'm taking from that is he set up Soul Wars around the obelisk to like enhance the amount of souls going through it. But it would imply that there's souls already coming through it. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I just, yeah, now that you say that, I really am uncertain why it would be there. I only knew of one place where I could harvest enough. But why would he know that he could harvest enough? See,
This also kind of brings back something that was stated in Elegy when you defeat Gillinor. Um,
yeah.
the soul obelisk is destroyed, but then somehow magically returns itself to the Soul Wars area. Now, obviously, gameplay reasons, it's because they can't just get rid of Soul Wars,
Yeah, yeah,
but
it's
lore-wise,
not still Star Wars. It's destroyed.
yeah, but no, it is. It's there because Iclaren states it. He says, I
Oh,
don't know what's wrong with the soul obelisk, but somehow it managed to bring itself back. Like, this is directly stated at the end of Elegy.
hmm.
So, the
Oh,
thing I was thinking at the end of Elegy was, well, maybe it's an Elder artifact, as weird as that would be.
I mean that wouldn't not make sense. Now, what would be weird about it is the fact that since it's collecting souls, what the fuck would the elders be doing with souls? Pardon my French.
Yeah, exactly. So,
That's
I don't
that
know.
is something I didn't even consider until you said that.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
So something's really odd with the soul obelisk. I keep wanting to call it
Yeah.
the soul altar.
I was about to. I've done the same thing about 7 times, probably because you've been doing it. But yeah, no, that's a big one. I hope that's something brought up in the future, especially since Iclaren specifically mentions it in
Yeah.
the quest.
Yeah. Um, I think there was one other one, but I don't think I can exactly remember what it was.
Hmm. Well, yeah, that's so fascinating. Really, huh? Yeah. If we find more information about this, we'll either toss it in an annotation to a follow-up video or just make sure to bring it up. This is probably already getting kind of long,
Hell, I might even
so
make a Rune Secrets about it eventually.
yeah, really, yeah, let's make sure we file this one away though, and let's do a couple quick references about Nomad's Hardmode, and then Deathmatch before we wrap up.
What you guys
So,
just witnessed was Amasket's brain being blown.
yeah, that was something I didn't think about. So yeah, Nomad Hard Mode. Basically, at the end of the bridge, you can re-enter the doors to reattempt the Nomad fight without the Gillinor segments, but you have to do all 4 stages in one go
Mhm.
with no banking in between, and you can't teleport out, and it is not a safe death. And if you complete it, you get a soul cape. If you complete it under certain times, you get different colors of soul capes, as well as some loot. You can do
And
it
if
once a
you
week.
beat him while having the
The Ravensworn
Ravensworn
title, you
title
get a
unlocked,
Ravensworn cape. Yeah,
yeah,
really cool looking.
and it
I wish I
looks
had it.
so weird.
And by I wish I had it, I mean I haven't beaten it.
I haven't attempted it yet, so I've just been
I
reading
have
up on it.
attempted it. It absolutely dumpstered me. But
Mhm.
I got to stage 3, and then he just took a giant fat turd on me. So he is very difficult, as he should be. I mean, it's Nomad hard
Hard
mode.
mode, yeah.
So it's one of those fights that really will require you to use a shield. You're able to use a defensive rotation well. He's very difficult. You can't even use Soul Split on that fight. He's going to be a challenge. I'm definitely eager to try him out a couple more times, try a couple setups, try some more shield rotation stuff, and hopefully beat him because he's fun, but he's a challenge. And that's exactly what I expect.
Oh, there was one other thing about
New
Tails.
new hidden Raven, by the way. I don't know if you saw
Oh,
that.
really? No. I
Yeah,
don't have
as
Ravensworn,
you
so I can't
run
see these things.
as you run down the bridge, there are ravens
Oh
sitting
yeah,
on
I
the
did. I
bridge
did see
that
that
slowly
actually.
part and fly away. And then there is a single raven there with, I believe, a German name.
Uh,
And let me see if I can find the name. Go ahead and talk about the tail thing.
oh yeah. So in the very first memory, the very first line is "My life began
Yeah.
here at the village edge." Have we ever heard Edgeville be called that before?
Yep. It used to be called Ghost Town as well.
I knew it
It's
was called
just
Ghost Town, but I just thought
yeah,
Village
it's
Edge was an odd name for it. Just odd wording.
yeah. No, it's been mentioned in a number of weird ways. They don't seem to really have a common agreement on what happened in Edgeville's past or what why it's there.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
All right. Let me let's tweak. Uh, let's try
Also, we should
recreate.
probably mention Oreb. The name
Yeah.
in, I believe it's Swedish,
Yeah.
is means raven. So Raven's putting himself in the game.
Oh, I never knew that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. That's why he also voices Oreb. So,
That is really funny actually.
mhm.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I knew he voiced Oreb. I just did not hear the I didn't hear the dialogue itself because my audio is always.
Yeah, I had to turn all my audio off except for voiceover. So,
Yep. I didn't even have voiceover on, mostly because I wasn't aware of it. Yeah.
yeah, I believe it's Swedish though.
That's really cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, I believe this one was German. And that's oh yeah, here we go. His name was Corp. Let's see, German. Maybe it's Danish or something, but German to English. I don't know foreign languages, so let's find the
Oh,
word
nope, I
for
take it back. It's Hebrew.
Ooh,
Yeah. Oreb in Hebrew is the raven.
okay, here we go. Oh, stop. Go back. Damn it, Google. I had the result I wanted. Go click and click the ad. Can't. I'm not allowed to click that. Okay, cool. And do that. Go again. All right. Let's talk about deathmatch while I keep looking at this. Okay, never mind. It means raven in sweet. What is this? I'm not gonna say. Oh, yeah, it's Swedish. Corp means raven in Swedish.
Oh, it does it. Okay.
Yeah, or
So
does
Raven's
not.
just sticking himself everywhere.
Yeah. In the Tardiet Easter egg as well, the raven was named Raven in Welsh.
Ah.
Yeah. So he's been doing that all over. Anyway, deathmatch as
I
well.
guess that would make sense as to why or
Yeah.
the Oreb mysterious figure has the Raven's horn cape though, because he's
Yeah,
Raven.
potentially. Now, yeah. So if that's in Hebrew, so
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, deathmatch. More PvP. Yay. It's always our most favorite content in the world.
Yeah, but yeah. So deathmatch. I'm a big fan of this. I'm all about safe PvP games. It's not that I don't want to risk my items. It's just that I have zero desire to. Um,
Yep.
I don't think it's good or applicable in games, modern MMOs today. Honestly, losing your gear in PvP situations, especially with the amount of bugs this game can have and the amount of scammers and the amount of just bad things that happen outside of your own control. I don't think safe or unsafe PvP really has as big of a place. So the way they've designed deathmatch, I think, is really intuitive, very good. It's basically go into an arena and beat the snot out of people. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I really like it. The rewards are solid. They're all like welfare gear. Sorry, there's a number of rewards that are like welfare gear types of things that are really good because you can purchase them from Deathmatch, spending zero money. And then once Bounty Hunter comes out next week, go use that stuff while you're in the wilderness fighting.
Yeah.
It's really well designed. There's these packs of food you can use. There's these flasks that you can bottle up the Ooglog spas and bring them along with you. A lot of these deathmatch
That
rewards
was
and
the
things.
that was the one reward I was actually really interested in.
Yeah, there's the rune pouch, which is getting patched next week. Its design failed really badly.
So what is it supposed to do?
I mean, it's a pouch that goes in your pocket slot that can hold two runes, two types of
Two.
runes
Oh,
rather.
I was about to say two whole
Yeah,
runes.
but the problem is currently it doesn't take most runes. It only takes the elementals,
Oh.
which
Hmm.
is really useless, and it also is always lost on death and loses all the runes inside of it. So next week they're changing it to function pretty much exactly like the Taranwen Quiver, in that when you die, you keep it. You lose 100 of the runes in the pouch, and that's it. And it's also going to be able to take any type, including combination runes.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, it's about to gain a lot of use, which is really nice. Bounty Hunter is going to release a more expanded version of it, which is great. I like the way they've structured the rewards for Deathmatch. I like the gameplay of it. It's fun. It moves away from the really awkward way that Crucible worked, and just creates kind of a fun, just PvP deathmatch arena where you go in
Crucible was just
and show off how
always
good you are.
Crucible was just
Crucible was
terribly
just bad.
designed. Like
It was an awkward combination of this sounds like it'd be fun and oh, I'm about to lose a ton of money.
yeah, and it was like this weird combo abomination between wilderness PvP and old like bounty hunter-ish
Bounty Hunter, yeah.
stuff. So
It was a very poorly thought out.
yeah,
Thankfully, it looks like Deathmatch is really fixing this thing up, and Bounty Hunter looks like it's going to be successful as well. The rewards that Bounty Hunter's offering are truly valuable, and I think it'll drive a lot of people to do real PvP again, but not have to worry about, oh, I'm going to lose all of my hard earned gear when you can go continue to PvP and funnel that. I think that's really
yeah.
um,
Funnily
as
enough,
somebody
this
that,
is the
yeah,
third update that area has received.
yep. Um, yeah, actually. But yeah, honestly, I'm pretty impressed with the way they've done this. I'm glad they're doing it in a way that probably isn't going to need to be reworked in a couple months anyway. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here because while I'm not against PvP or anything, it has not managed to capture my attention. And I'm hoping that maybe this will change. Maybe RuneScape will get some proper PvP back, and people will see why it's fun, but not need to deal with the poor design that comes from all items lost on death these days, because that's
Yeah.
very quickly becoming completely
Although
applicable.
there is the current problem of there are approximately 3 PvPers in the game, so
There's a lot more than that, but I mean the problem is, of course, small community, dedicated but small, and the community being split into two, being EOC and Legacy.
yeah.
So hopefully the set of updates will really reinvigorate the scene for.
Unfortunately, we
And
will always have the people who are like, it's not fun to PvP on EOC. Legacy
yeah,
only.
it, and then the people that say it's not fun to PvP and Legacy. What I
Yeah.
think is funny too is that there's actually a larger community of EOC PvPers than there are Legacy PvPers on RS. It's just the EOC ones tend to keep to themselves and don't freak out about everything, I
Yeah.
guess. I've had some really interesting discussions with EOC PvPers, and I'm not bashing on Legacy PvPers here either. Like, do you? It's just I tend to notice that when issues arise, it tends to be coming from people that aren't
Yeah.
EOC. In fact, two very good Legacy PvPers that I actually are both incredible PVM well EOC. So it's not like they're not doing EOC PvP like it, because they. But yeah, I'm really hoping this does good things because I really don't want three whole sets of updates to be a least.
Yeah.
And reinvigorating PvP could be a very good thing for RuneScape. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Deathmatch.
Yep.
Hopefully Bounty Hunter succeeds. And anything else to add?
I think that's everything, unless you had any more random thoughts about Tales that we missed.
Nope. I've got that covered. All right, so next in the pipeline, I've got two more thoughts on coming about RuneFest. First one's going to combine the combat and the skilling discussions. Last one's going to be about the lore. And we've got a Rune Secrets that I'm working on. I have the reviews I'm working on. Basically, expect a fairly decent trickle of content over the weeks.
Oh, back to the
Unless
editing
something
dungeon.
major, yeah. Unless something major comes up for me, I'm going to have some content sitting around. Probably not for another couple days after this because I currently have a cold, as you can probably tell by the fact that my voice is like deeper than it usually is. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some stuff out, and hopefully anybody watching enjoys. So thank you so much for listening. Sorry this got a little lengthy. We dove into the tale and then Art kind of realized some stuff that excited us a little more than it should have. We got into some history, but yeah,
We're a bunch of
that's our
nerds.
thoughts on Tales of Nomad, Nomad's Hard Mode, a discussion on the history of Nomad and all the theories about that, and Deathmatch in the PvP scene. So thanks so much for watching. I've been Amascut.
And I've been
Crondis.
Crondis.
Yep, there we go. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Alright, bye guys.